This video is part of our Configuration Manager lab setup video series, and in this video we are going to look at how to configure virtual networking for our lab, and we will configure virtual machines. I'm very excited about this video because finally we are working on virtual machines. And in the previous videos I know we just talked, but it was important as well. So if you have not checked out previous videos, link is given in the description below with the full playlist, so you can click on the link and you can follow along with the full playlist. Hello everyone, this is Jay saying welcome to my channel TEKNEX Solutions. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon as well to get all the latest updates from this channel. And all the links mentioned in this video are given in the description below. You can check it out. Let's get started. Alright, so virtual machines and virtual networking. So I should start with virtual networking first, and that's the main part we have to configure and we have to get it right so that our virtual machines, they can communicate with each other, which is very important. And then we will move on to our virtual machines. So let's jump on and let's have a look at what are we going to configure in virtual networking. Okay, so this is the host. We are currently logged in. You can see that I have logged in to the host. And if I open this browser, you can see that this is the blog that I have discussed in the past as well. So virtual networking, let's have a look at scenario 1. So this is the scenario we are going to follow. And internal virtual switch 10.0.0.0/24, 10.0.0.0/24. Yes, I got it right. And that's what we are going to discuss, how we are going to configure. So the hypervisor we are going to use in this video series is Hyper-V. So make sure you have enabled Hyper-V in your Windows 10 Pro, Education or Enterprise machine. And so to enable Hyper-V, I have showed in the previous video as well. So to enable Hyper-V, so go to Windows R and then type in optional features, hit enter, and then here you can enable Hyper-V. Okay, so you can see that Hyper-V. So Hyper-V management tools, Hyper-V platform, everything is checked here. Okay, so we will open Hyper-V manager. In Hyper-V manager, on the right hand side in the actions, you can see that there will be an option to get to virtual switch manager. So click on that, it will open a new window. So in new window, we are going to create internal virtual switch. All right, so let's have a look at the network adapters which currently this machine has. So Windows R, ncpa.cpl, hit enter. You can see all these network adapters here. Okay, so we are going to configure internal network adapter and click on create virtual switch, and we will name it int01. So it is an internal, and hit apply, click OK. So now you can see that here a new network adapter came up, which is int-01. So we will update its IP address. Double click on that and then click on properties, and then double click on Internet Protocol version 4. Okay, so change it to use the following IP address and enter new IP. So it will be 10.0.0.1. Okay, so we are following subnet 10.0.0.0/24. Subnet mask 255.255.255. All right, rest leave as it is and click OK. OK and close. So if you double click details, you can see that this has received new IP address 10.0.0.1. Okay, and right click on the start menu and then open PowerShell as admin. So here what we're going to do, we will ping that address. So it is pinging itself. Okay, so this host is pinging itself 10.0.0.1. So if you ping that, you can see that we are getting reply back. So that is good enough. And the next step we are going to do, it is very important and very interesting. Okay, in this step, we are going to configure our virtual machines. And to configure virtual machines, we need two important pieces of software we downloaded in our last video. So if you have not checked out that video, link is in the description and you can find that out. And these two software, one is Windows Server ISO file, and second one is Windows 10 ISO file. So let's jump on and let's create our virtual machines. So first of all, let's find out actually how many virtual machines we are going to create. In the previous videos, we have seen that, we have discussed that, and let's have a look at that one more time. I will go back to my blog, and then here you can see that virtual machines, TEKNEX-DC01, TEKNEX-CM01, PC-01. So first two virtual machines are going to be Windows Server, and the last one is a Windows client. So DC01, CM01, let's configure these two first, and then in the last we will configure PC01. So for first two, we need Windows Server ISO file. So we downloaded in the previous video, and then we saved it in cm_software virtual drive. So if you double click, you will find it here if you have followed that video. However, I have copied over these two files and I have saved it locally in the documents folder. Okay, so here I'm going to use these files from the documents folder on the host machine. So I will go back to Hyper-V Manager to create a new virtual machine. This will be TEKNEX-DC01. Okay, so I will click on New and Virtual Machine. And also let's have a look at the hardware, how much resources we have to provide. So DC01, I am recommending, this is the minimum I'm recommending. So RAM 2 GB and storage 30 GB. So if you have no problem with the storage, you have plenty of storage, plenty of RAM, you can provide more storage as well. Okay, so let's go back to Hyper-V Manager. So this is the window before you begin. That's fine. We will click on next, and here we will name it. So I will name it TEKNEX-DC01, and the store. You should know where you are storing your virtual machines. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on store the virtual machine in a different location because I would like to store it in a different location. So I will click on browse so I can browse to the location. I will pick a location. So I will save this on TEK01. I will create a new folder, TEKNEX-DC01, select that folder and click next. So generation, second gen, and memory we just discussed, I'm going to give it 2 GB, 2048. Now click on next, and connection, int01, this is the internal virtual switch we have just selected, and click next. And here create a virtual hard disk because we do not have hard disk available, so we will create a new one. And size we looked at 30 GB. So this is what I'm recommending minimum. So click next and install an operating system later or now. We would like to install now, so we will select the second option and browse to documents and the ISO file which you have downloaded for Windows Server. So I will select this ISO file, double click, it will get selected here, it will get populated here, click next, and you will see the summary. And now we will click on finish. Let's go back to Hyper-V Manager. We can see that our virtual machine is here. So TEKNEX-DC01. So double click on that. I will bring it in the center. I know it's going to readjust itself when I'm going to click on start. So when we click on start, we have to press any key on our keyboard. So I will click on start, and I have pressed some keys on the keyboard. Okay, so it has booted to the ISO file which we have linked just then. Alright, so language, time and currency, just select all these options, and once you're happy with it, click next and install now. Alright, so I am going to pick standard evaluation and desktop experience. Click next and agree to the license, next, custom, and this is the drive where we are going to install our Windows Server for our domain controller. So click next. Okay, so while it's doing its things, I'm going to minimize this and let's create our second virtual machine. So again, I will click on new virtual machine. So this virtual machine is going to be our configuration manager virtual machine. And let's go back to our blog again and let's have a look at the resources that we have to provide for that virtual machine. So TEKNEX-CM01, minimum RAM I'm recommending 4 GB for that purpose. and storage 250, explained in detail below. Here it is. So for config manager VM C drive, this is going to be our operating system 50 GB, 4 GB RAM, 50 GB storage for our operating system. So let's go back to our Hyper-V manager. So where we have initiated new virtual machine visit and click next. So name and location, name is TEKNEX-CM01 Configuration Manager 01. Store in a different location, browse, and this one. So this is the drive where we are going to install operating system for configuration manager. So I will pick TEK02 for that purpose, and I will create a new folder, TEKNEX-CM01, and select it. Next, generation 2, next, and startup memory 4096, and no dynamic for that, and I will click next on it. So networking, we will select internal virtual switch we just created and click next, and also storage 50 GB. If storage is not a problem, you can provide more storage as well. So I will provide it 60 GB. So minimum I recommend 50 GB for that. And we will click on next and install operating system now from a bootable image. We will browse to our Windows Server ISO file, double click, and it is there. Click next. We will see a summary and we will click on finish. In Hyper-V Manager, we can see TEKNEX-CM01 is there. So we will double click on that and we will start it and hit any key on your keyboard. Select the time and currency and we will click on next. So here install now. So select the operating system. We would like to install Windows Server 2019 Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience. Click next on that one. Accept the license, click next, and then custom. This is the storage space where we are going to install this server. Click next on that, and we will wait for it to install. So while this is installing, we can configure our last virtual machine, which is PC-01. So resources for that, minimum what I'm recommending is 2 GB RAM and 30 GB storage. If your storage is not a problem, give it 40 GB if you can. Okay, that's a minimum what I'm recommending. So we will go back to Hyper-V Manager, same procedure we are going to repeat, new virtual machine, click next, and we will give it a name, and then we will pick a location, tick that box, browse, and pick a location where would you like to save it. I will save it on TEK03, new folder, PC-01, select the folder, click on next, specify generation, this will be generation 2, and then click on next again. We will assign memory. So for Windows 10, minimum memory is 2 GB anyway, so make sure you untick use dynamic memory, otherwise you might have a problem when you try to install Windows 10 on a virtual machine. So make sure dynamic memory is unchecked and click on next. And networking, we have configured internal virtual switch for that. We will select that internal virtual switch, which is int01, and then we will move forward, click next. So virtual drive, so we just discussed about it. If we have more storage and you can afford 40 GB for PC01, go for it. Otherwise 30 GB will do the job for you. And move forward, click next on it and install operating system. Now we will browse to our ISO file. So this is the ISO file. This is Windows 10 Enterprise Evaluation. We downloaded it in our previous video. So double click on that. It will get populated here. Click next on it and then just click on finish. Alright, so PC01 is ready. So double click on that. Same procedure we are going to perform here as well. Click on start and then press any key on your keyboard. So time and currency, select yours. I'm going to select English Australia and click next, install now. So I accept the license terms, click next, custom install, select this storage space, next, and Windows 10 will be installed on this virtual machine. TEKNEX-DC01 is ready, and let's provide the local administrator password to that one and finish it off with proper IP addressing. Let's get on to it. Okay, so DC01 is here. Provide the password and click on finish. I'll go full screen, connect. Okay, so let's enter the password again, which we have just selected. All right, so it is logging on, and we will update the name of this server and also IP address, and then we will test the IP connectivity and the virtual machine connectivity. On TEKNEX-DC01, we can see that server manager is loaded, and if we click on local server, and here we can see that computer name, so which is something weird. So we will rename it. Let's click on change, and this is TEKNEX-DC01. Okay, click OK. We are not going to restart it, so it will prompt us to restart it to make this change. We will restart it later. Okay, and now let's update the IP address. And here we can see that IP address assigned by DHCP. We don't want that, so we will manually assign it an IP address. So double click on that and click on properties, and now click on IPv4, double click on that and use the following IP. So we will provide it 10.0.0.2 and subnet mask 255, 255, 255. Default gateway, there is no router at the moment, so we will make itself default gateway. And DNS server, there is no DNS server in action for this internal virtual switch at the moment. Okay, so we will make itself a DNS server as well. So click OK, click OK, click close. And if you double click on that details, so you can see that 10.0.0.2 and there's no default gateway. DNS server 10.0.0.2. So it has actually removed the default gateway which we entered. All right, because it was itself. So now, so if you open PowerShell, and now let's try pinging 10.0.0.0.1. Okay, so 10.0.0.1 is the IP address of the host machine. Let's hit enter. So you can see that it is not pinging that address, right? So let's minimize this virtual machine and let's open PowerShell on the host machine. This is the host one. So let's try pinging 10.0.0.2 from the host. So even this is not pinging our DC01. All right, so let's go back to DC01. So we have to add a rule, which is ICMP version 4. So if you turn off the firewall, let's just turn it off for the domain and for private and for public as well. And now let's try pinging from the host. So now we can see that host is pinging. Our DC01 is not pinging. So this is very important. So the reason being, we have to configure ICMP version 4 protocol and we have to allow it in the firewall. So I'm going to restore settings for now. So everything, all the firewalls are on, domain, private and public. So what we will do is we will add a rule. Let's open Windows Defender Firewall. Okay, so here is Windows Defender Firewall. You can find Windows Defender Firewall in Windows Administrative Tools. So I tried searching, I couldn't search. I think the indexing is not finished. So open Windows Defender Firewall. So here what we are going to do, inbound rules. So inbound, we are going to allow ICMP version 4. New rule, let's do a custom. Click next. So all programs, next, and protocol is ICMP version 4. Click next. Any IP addresses, click next and allow the connection. Next. Everywhere, that's fine. We will name it ICMP version 4 allow. So I will say allow ICMP version 4. Okay, description you can add, it is optional, that is fine. Click on finish. So inbound is allowing. Now if we go back to our host again and try pinging, let's see what happens. Now firewall is turned on, so there's firewall turned on as well. Let's try pinging now with the firewall on. So this is from host. You can see that now firewall is on, even then host is pinging our guest virtual machine, which is TEKNEX-DC01, which means ICMP v4 allow is actually allowing ICMP version 4 to go through. The same thing we might have to do on the actual host as well, because host won't allow the ping. So I will go to Windows Firewall. So this will be with advanced security, and inbound, right click, new rule, and port based. No, it's actually custom. So click next, and all programs, any ICMP version 4, not any. So click next, and any IP address is fine. Allow the connection everywhere. I will name it allow ICMP version 4 and click finish. So this is ready as well. So if we go back to our domain controller, which is DC01, it's not a domain controller yet. So DC01 ping 10.0.0.0.1, and now you can see that pinging is working. All right. So we had to add inbound rules on the both sides. So let's minimize this, minimize this. So I'm going to give it a quick reboot so it gets the proper name. Okay, so while this is rebooting, so we can go back to our other virtual machine, which is TEKNEX-CM01. Okay, it is ready as well. So I will give it local administrator password and click on finish. Let's enter the password again. All right, so we logged in and server manager is loading. All right, so we click on local server and we'll rename this one as well. So right now we are not going to domain join because there's no domain controller available. So we just rename it TEKNEX-CM01 and click OK. And we are not going to restart it as well. So we will restart it later. We will update its IP address as well. So IP address, it says DHCP, click on that and double click on it. Properties, ICMP v4, double click on that and use the following IP address. So this will be 10.0.0.3 and subnet mask 255.255, not 44, 55.255, and default gateway. Let's just make our domain controller DC01 default gateway for now. This is 2 and DNS 10.0.0.2 as well. So click OK, click OK. So just say yes to that, click close. So now if we ping, let's go to PowerShell again and let's try pinging TEKNEX-DC01 IP address, which is 10.0.0.2. All right, so hit enter. And we are getting a reply back from that virtual machine. Okay, so now let's try pinging from our DC01. So we want to make sure that all virtual machines, they can ping each other. So I will log in here and I will open PowerShell and then I will try pinging to 10.0.0.3, which is our configuration manager. 10.0.0.3, which is our configuration manager. You can see that it will struggle. It might not ping because we have to allow inbound ICMP version 4. So let's just do that on our configuration manager server, which is CM01. And quickly we go to start menu and then administrative tools. Scroll down, find Windows Defender Firewall with advanced security and inbound rules. Right click, new rule, and then custom, click next, all programs, click next, and protocol type ICMP version 4, and then click next, any IP address, click next, and allow the connection, click next, and everywhere click next, and we will name it allow ICMP version 4. Let's click on finish now. All right, so let's try again. So we go back to our domain controller. I keep saying domain controller. We go back to our DC01 and I will ping again and we can see that it is successfully pinging. So let's finish off our Windows 10 virtual machine, which is pretty simple, and let's have a look at that. So this is our PC01. Australia is the language, region, not language, and click yes. And keyboard layout is US. I'm happy with that. Skip that. I don't want to add additional layouts. I'm happy with the one that I have. So I don't have internet. When I'm going to click on that, it might restart. I've seen that in the past. Continue with the limited setup. There you go. As I said, it has restarted. I've seen that. I don't know what they have done with Windows 10. So when you continue with the limited setup, it always reboot the device and it will prompt you again to go through the same thing again. And then after that, it will be happy with it. Okay, so you can see that it is restarting again. There you go. So again, it's asking the same question again. So I don't have internet and continue with the limited setup. All right, so who's going to use this PC? Mr. User is going to use this PC. I'm not worrying about any password for now. We are going to domain join this computer. Okay, so choose the privacy settings and I will click on accept. History, I don't care. I will just say no to that and accept that Cortana. I should have said no, but that is okay. So now it is just setting up. All right, so you have seen that CM01 is talking to DC01 and DC01 is talking to CM01 and they both machines are talking to our host as well. So which means these two machines are good to go in terms of networking. However, our third virtual machine, which is PC01, I haven't quite finished it because I want you to do it on your own. So what you have to do is you give static IP to your PC01 and maybe give it 10.00.49 or 50 and then try pinging to 10.0.02 and 10.0.03. Okay, so try pinging to these two addresses and you might have to add ICMP version 4 rule the way we have added to DC01 and CM01. See how you go. Any questions, leave it in the comment box below. I'm more than happy to help you. That is all for this video. If you find this video informative, give it a thumbs up and show your support by subscribing to my channel and click on the bell icon to get all the latest updates from this channel. I will see you in the next video. In the next video, we are going to configure our domain controller and we will configure DHCP server as well. And we will domain join CM01 and PC01 to a domain controller, which is DC01. I will see you then. Have a good one in the meantime. Take care.